Good day, ladies and gentlemen. If you're watching this video, you should have already worked on the paper for review. These are some things that we've already covered this year and that you should start to get good at and have confidence in solving. If not, then you shouldn't be watching the video. Okay? I want you to go through your paper and circle any problems that you either didn't finish or you skipped. Okay? Because at the end of the video, after I go through all the problems with you, then I want to know which ones you had trouble with. Alright, so here we go. Number one, first one, what is the LCM of 9 and 12? So to solve that, we would say 9 and 12, and we can use the cake method. You can divide both by 3, and that would be 3 and 4. 3 and 4 are in counting order, so we can't go again. And remember, this is the LCM, so we have the sideways L, and you need to multiply these. So 3 times 3 is 9, times 4 is 36, so the LCM is 36. So if you got it right, I want you to put a check mark beside number 1. Feel free to pause the video. I'm going to try to make this as quick as possible. Alright, here we go. Next one. Okay, evaluate 8,128 by 254. Not sure why I did that, because I was probably thinking about the cake again. 254. Okay, I've always told you, do the strategy of putting a box above each of the numbers. So I've got that, and then over here I'm going to write 254. That would be 1. If I add 254, I'm just going to do a couple of these. That's 508. That's 2. If I add 254, that's 12, 6, that's 3. I'm going to start there, but 254 won't go into 8, and it will go into 81. I'm going to try one more. 254, that's 6, 11, that's okay, so that's 1,000. Alright, so it'll go 3 times, and that's 762. When I subtract, it gets 0, 11, man, trying to hurry, so I'm making mistakes here. 11 minus 6 is 5. 50 is smaller than 254, so I bring down my 8, and I have 508 right here, so this is a 2, and that finishes it off. So the answer is 32. If you got that right, put a check mark. Next one. Number 3, the value of 12,642 divided by 49. Okay, again, boxes above each of those. And over here, 49, that's 18, it's not a very good 8, and 9. So that's 1, that's 2, plus another 49, 17, 14. That's 3. Plus 49. 6. Sorry, my dogs are in the back and they're playing and probably making a lot of noise. It's 196. That's 4. 196. I'm running out of room, so I'm going to go up here. And 49. 14. 245. I'm going to stop there and see what I need to do yet. Okay, it's not going to go into 1 or 12. 126, it looks like 2 times for 98. When I subtract, I have to do some borrowing. That's 8. 11 minus 9 is 28. 28 is smaller than 49. Bring down my 4. 284. I've got 245. If I do another 49, that's 4. That's 9. 294. So that's too much. So I'll go back to 5. And that's 245. Subtract 7. It's 9. 39. 39 is smaller than 45. So 392. I'm only up to 294, so I'm going to do another 49, which obviously this is 6. 13. And that's 4. 343. If I do another 49, I get 2. Guess what? I get 392. So this was 7, and this was 8. So 8. The answer here is 258. If you got that, check mark. Go, next one. Alright, subtraction of fractions. So 14 is my whole number, minus whole number 1, and 3/8. I don't have a fraction above the 3/8, so I have to get one. I'm going to borrow. This is where I always talk about my brother eating pizza, and so I have to cut my pizza into the same number of pieces as the denominator. It's 8. So 8/8 minus 3/8 is 5/8, and 13 minus 1 is going to be 12. So the answer is 12 and 5/8. If you got that, check mark. If not, you should be copying it down. And let's get this practice in. Okay, next one. Number 5. We are adding fractions. Probably saw that on your do now today. Not sure what that scribble was all about. Here we go. 4 and 3/5. And we're going to add 7 and 3/4. First thing I have to do is get a common denominator, and it's going to be 20. This is times 4, so 3 times 4 is 12. This is times 5, so 3 times 5 is 15. That's going to give me 27 20ths, and over here I have 11. 27 20ths becomes, I have to divide. It's going to be 1, and my fraction 7 20ths. Now, I already had this 11 over here, and this other part over here is equal to 1 and 7 20ths, so I have to put them together. I have to add these, and I get 12 and 7 20ths. If you got that, put a check mark. If you didn't, you should be copying it down. Here we go. Oops. Number 6. Okay, so these are some multi-step questions. At a sports banquet, Garrett ate 3/4 of a pizza, Macy ate 1 1/5 of a pizza, and Jaime ate 5/10 of a pizza. So how much pizza did they eat in all? So that means I'm going to add, and I need to write my answer as a fraction. Well, Garrett ate 3/4, already a fraction. And Macy ate 1 1/5, already a fraction. And Jaime ate 5/10, which is not a fraction. So I have to change that to a fraction, which is going to be 1/2. I need to get a common denominator. Now you can do this in multi-steps. It doesn't matter. You could just add the first two and then get your common denominator and then add the third one. Doesn't matter how it's done, just as long as you end up with the same final answer. Okay, here we go. common denominator is going to be 20. So 3/4 is going to be 15/20. 1/5 is going to be 4/20. And 1/2 is going to be 10/20. Sorry, I'm running out of room on the bottom there. I don't want to forget my whole number over there. So I'm going to put that whole number over here, since I'm going to run out of room on the bottom there. So there's 1, and now I'm going to add my fraction. So 15 plus 4 plus 10. That's going to give me 29/20. So just like the other one, need to change this 29/20. Okay, you can divide it. That goes in 1 time, and I have 9 left over. So this becomes 1 and 9/20. I have to add that to the 1 whole that I already had right here. So that 1 plus 1 and 9/20 is going to give me 2 and 9/20 for part A. Okay, 2 and 9/20. If you got that, put a check mark. If not, copy it down. Okay, here we go. Next one. Same question, only this one is how much more pizza did Garrett eat than Jaime? And I'm going to write my answer as a decimal. So Garrett ate 3/4, which is not a decimal, so I need to change that. This is one of your common ones that you should know. 3/4 is like 3/4. So what does it look like? 75 cents. Okay, and Jaime, his is also already a decimal. That's 0.5. So, how much more pizza did Garrett eat? This is going to be a subtraction, so I'm going to subtract. I can put a placeholder 0 here. Subtract. And so Garrett ate 2/500ths more than Jaime. That's my answer. Okay? If you got it, put a check mark. If not, you're pausing the video, copying it down. Here we go. Next one. Part C. Same question. Jaime got hungry after the banquet, ended up eating 5/8 of pizza. 5/8 in all. So how much more did he eat? Well, before, so he just got done eating 5/8. Oh, by the way, I need this as a fraction. He just, at the banquet, he ate 5/10. So we need to change that to a fraction, which is 1/2. We're going to subtract to find out how much more he ate. He ate 1/2, but then by the end he had eaten a total of 5/8. So we have to subtract. Again, we're going to get a common denominator, and it's going to be 8. So 5/8 is going to stay the same. And 1/2 is going to become 4/8. So 5/8 minus 4/8, 1/8. So he ate 1/8 more after the banquet was over. 1/8. If you got that, put a check mark. If not, pause it, copy it down. Okay, next. Track practice, runners were supposed to walk or jog 20 laps. Sarah jogged 3/4 of the laps, Jacob jogged 6/10 of the laps, and Sierra jogged 50% of the laps. Who ran the most? The first part of this question is, put the runners' names in order based on the amount they ran. And again, from greatest to least. So you have to make them all common. You can't just, well, hopefully you can eventually, but we want to compare like common representations. So we have Sarah was at 3/4. Well, 3/4 is the same as 75/100ths, or 75%. And Jacob, he jogged 6/10 which is the fraction 6 over 10, okay, or the percent, which is 60%, and Jaime, another J, sorry. No, I'm sorry, that was the last question. It's Sierra, yay, it's a different, oh, it's the S, so we'll put SI for Sierra. She ran 50%, so we already have the percent there, and that is the same thing as 1/2, or 0.5, sorry, different order, but so actually they are in order. So Sarah would be first, and then Jacob, and then Sierra. Okay, so if you had them listed in this order, you got it right. Okay, put a check mark. If not, copy it down. Here we go, next one. How much more did Sarah jog than Jacob? And write your answer as a decimal. Alright, so Sarah, she jogged 3/4. Again, that is 75 hundredths. And Jacob, he jogged 6/10, which is already a decimal. We want to know how much more Sarah jogged than Jacob, so we're going to subtract. We need a placeholder 0, and we're going to subtract, and, oops, not 2. 7 minus 6 is not 2, but 1, and our decimal, 15 hundredths. So if you had that as your answer, you got it right. If not, you're pausing the video. You know what to do. Write it down. Okay, last question. How much more did Sarah jog than Sierra? Write your answer as a fraction. So Sarah jogged 3/4, already a fraction. Don't need to change it. Sierra, however, she jogged 50%. So you have to think, what is the fraction for that? Well, it's 1/2. We're going to subtract again. We have to get a common denominator, 3/4. Sorry, common denominator is going to be 4. That's times 2. Times 2 is 2. And so 3 minus 2 is 1. And our common denominator stays the same. So Sarah jogged 1/4 more than Sierra. If you got 1/4, check mark. Okay. So the last thing, here we go. I want you to reflect on your work. Your work, not what you copied from the video. Okay? I want to know what do you still need to work on? What is it that you need to work on? Okay? You're going to write your answer on the front by your name. So be specific, not just put question 6. Or I want you to be specific. Do you still need help with fractions, decimals, percents? That would be questions 6 and 7. Do you still need help with subtraction of fractions? Do you still need help with long division? Okay, what do you still need help with? Okay, once you're done, you can turn your paper in, and then you can work on IXL, and I'll give you those in class, the IXL topics to work on in class. All right? We'll see you next time.